One, it's Jim. I was asked to maybe make a tutorial about how I edit footage, so thought I would do that for you. I'm going to be very simple and just kind of show you the basic concepts that I use when editing and deciding what footage to use. For this, I'm going to use Final Cut Pro X just because it's easy, but the concepts work basically in any editing platform you want. Mostly it's just about ideas and how to get through it. So for this, I imported the footage and I asked Final Cut to make proxies of the footage. I didn't have to do that. Making proxies just means that it makes a version that's easier to edit. So when I selected the footage, I could just come up and say create proxy media. I mainly did that for the screen recording because I'm recording this demo at the same time as I'm editing, so I wanted things to move very quickly, but it just allows you to edit faster and makes the footage easy to work with. So I just shot two clips the other day. One's about 10 minutes and one's about 4 minutes, just down at the beach, but it makes it good for this sort of project of a simple edit. So I'm going to create a new project, which is kind of another word for sequence or program. The video properties will be set by the first video clip, so whatever I put in there, the sequence will take on those settings. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select my first clip, and like I said, this is just a 10-minute straight record through a bunch of footage. I was just exploring. I didn't have any particular shots. I thought I'd discover stuff as I go, so I just started recording, let it record the whole time, and then stopped at the end. This is what a lot of people will how they'll shoot. They'll just kind of start at the beginning and go from there. But what I've noticed is different is some people will just kind of post that entire video. They don't go and edit it. And when they do, they just don't tend to be very selective about what they choose. So I just wanted to show you how I go about it. So simply by hitting I and O on the keyboard, I for in, O for out, I'm going to go choose some segments of this to use. So I might start at the beginning and just start playing. Say, okay, this is kind of interesting. So I'll hit I here. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of waiting for the footage to no longer be part of the clip I want. What I mean by that is I'm just selecting the best moments of the footage. So now I'll continue on here. So I'm just kind of reframing. And the idea is to just use the very best moments of your footage. So here I'm going to hit I, so that'll be the start of our clip. Now I'm just going to wait for the clip to go wrong. It's going fine, it's going fine. Once I see a bump or a little move in the footage, see there the camera's slowing down, there's a bump. I'm just going to bring it back a little to before that bump and hit O. So that is now a clip. I'm now going to drag that down to the timeline, and then I'm going to continue. I'm going to look for the next in point. So now I'm just playing again. So as you can see, when I was flying, I was just looking around. I'm always adjusting the brightness levels as I shoot, you know, almost shot by shot. I'm going to hit I here because we're now moving up, and then it stopped to move, so I'm just going to bring it back a bit. And so as you can see, it's very simple, almost obvious what I'm doing here. I'm just literally going through the clip and just selecting the best moments. This is very easy to do. It's like the old story. Get an I here because we have a clip starting. See how long this goes, and still going, still going, still going, and then camera slows down. The drone slows down. So I'm just going to come back a little bit and hit O here. What I was starting to say before is the old story of Michelangelo, how he sculpted, and he just started with a giant block of marble and say, well, I'll just remove all the bits that shouldn't be there. That's the simplest way to describe editing. Just use your very best moments. And so all we're doing here, okay, get an I here. Nope, nothing good there. So I'm going to wait. See, I'm adjusting the camera again on the shoot. You know, you just need to be very selective. I'm gonna, wait, okay, now I'm adjusting the camera straight down. Okay, I'm gonna hit I, again, and we'll start our clip here. That's a nice little moment. Oh, and it stops. That might be too short, so I might abandon that. hit I here. Okay, it's rising up. That's quite nice. A little bit of a move. Again, all I'm doing is waiting for the clip to go bad. The clip will tell you when it's time to end the shot. So you can see this is kind of a nice longer shot because it's, okay, and there's obviously the end. I'm going to stop it, hit O, drag it in. So this initial pass, I'm just creating a series of clips, but I know that they're all viable. I don't know, I'm going to hit I don't know if they're all the right clips, and certainly not in the right order, but I know these are all clips that could work. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the clip to go bad. As you can see, there's a big bump, and that's all it takes. Oh, drag it in. What you should be doing is, things like that little bump, things like those little moves, take them out. They're unacceptable. Hit I. Whoops, no good. So as you can see, okay, hit I. You can almost just play through. Okay, this is no good. Hit I. You can play through and almost in real time decide if, hit I, decide if your clips are working. Okay, that looks like the start of an interesting clip, so I'm just going to back it up to kind of the start of this rotation. Hit I. Again, I just means in, and that's where the start of my clip will be. Now I'll play it. Now I'm waiting for the clip to go bad. I say it again and again, but it's so simple. The clip will tell you when it's time to end, right there. Right there was a bump in the footage. Not a big one, but enough to bring me out of the magic. Hit O. And the great thing about this process is it naturally breaks your footage into individual clips. And once you see those as individual clips, it becomes fairly obvious. Okay, I'm going to stop there, hit I. Oops, no good. So I'm just going to play. Hit I. No good, hit I. That looks a bit too fast, so I'm going to... Okay, that looks like kind of an interesting move, so I might just come back to the start of that. Hit I, play it. So you can see very quickly, you can go through, whoops, and you see how hard that hit at the end. I didn't really taper off that very well. So I'm going to stop that clip before it gets to the end. So it appears that that movement would just have kept going if I didn't stop it. So now let's go look for the next entry, readjusting the camera. This is where the histogram and the overexposure meter are vital. Just being able to be in the air. Okay, I can see I'm about to set up a shot. I'm getting the exposure right and the start of the move. So I'm just going to go back to that start of the move. Hit I. As you shoot, constantly be aware of your luminance levels and make sure you're not overexposing. As I've said in other tutorials, I think it's best to have a couple of the brightest spots overexpose. Just the brightest spots. I'm going to stop it there. Nice long shot. Bring that in. The reason I say that is it's worth having a couple of little spots blow out just to make sure you're getting as much light as you possibly can on your subject. So, a couple of really bright spots, it might be the white caps, it might be a cloud, something like that. They should blow out. They're allowed to. You just don't want large areas to blow out. Okay, I don't know where I'm going here, so I'm just going to kind of scroll a bit later in the clip. Okay. I'll hit I. Looks like, let's see if I can see that even some of this, I hit I, some of this is a bit overexposed there. I saw it in camera, so I've now brought it down. And you can see the difference in, in the foam and the sea. Okay, no clip there. So I'm going to hit I. Okay, there's a nice little pan up. Oops, and you see that bump right there. No good, deal breaker. So, clip's still usable. We'll just get out before that bump. Okay, bring that clip in. And continuing. All right, I see I'm adjusting the levels in camera again. That's good. Okay, I hit for the start of the move. So feel free, stop the drone. Think about the shot you're about to get. Make sure you're not overexposed. Okay, there's a bit too much of a bump, so I might actually start it here and see if we can go around this corner. Think about the shot, get your exposure right, and then move. It's okay to keep the camera running. Just do stop. Okay, I'm going to try and start the clip here. There's a little bit of a move there, but that might be acceptable. Might even add a little bit of energy to the cut. So we're kind of going out to sea, whoop, and then the drone slows down and stops. I'm just going to back it up a little bit. Unless your start and stops are perfect and they're really taper in and out, just cut around them. I wasn't trying particularly hard because I didn't really know what I was shooting. I was just kind of, as I said, exploring. So I hit I. Oops, see, I was just changing the exposure a bit, so I'll go to right after I change the exposure. Hit I. Oops, little bump, hit I. And then the camera stops. So there's really not a shot there, so I'm going to forget about that one. Okay, starting to move. Hit I. Let's see where this goes. Oh, didn't like that bump, so I'm going to hit I again. I just changed the camera exposure. Hit I again. Let's see if we can get a shot out of this, changing the camera exposure again. So as you can see, you're constantly looking for an in point. Don't just accept whatever's there. Okay, now I'm going to hit I. So this is now the start of a potential clip. And let's see where it goes. I don't even remember where this footage goes. I don't remember where the interesting shots are. Okay, that's interesting. Kind of raises up. It kind of goes out a bit. And now we're going out to sea. That's nice. Oop, and there's the end of the clip right there. So I'm going to back up, hit O, drag it in. Okay, and let's keep going. All right, now we're spinning around. Okay, resetting the exposure, hit I. And when I say reset exposure, of course, I mean in the camera during the shoot. I don't mean something I'm doing here in editing. Okay, so there's obviously a big pull-out shot. That looks nice. So this might be a good way to start the video. So start, oops, there's the end. So start thinking, as you see these clips, where you might want to use. I'm just going to dump it at the end for the moment because all I'm doing is selecting clips. I'm not trying to do any kind of editing. All right, and then I hit I. Nope, no good. Hit I. So as soon as a clip, nope, no good. As soon as a clip kind of smooths out, that's I. Nope, I. Think of, find those good entry points. Nope, that bumps, so I'll hit I again. So this now becomes the start of the clip. Nope, I don't like any of this. Don't like any of this. So obviously I'm just looking around. Looking around. Oh, that looks kind of interesting, so I might back up a bit and hit I, so this might be the start of a clip. Nope. Refocusing, hit I. That's kind of interesting. That might work as a clip. So I'll wait till that ends. Whoops, you can see I was starting to change the exposure already. Hit O, and there's my next clip. Don't have to use these. And probably won't. I'll think better and I'll override some of these and delete them. But adjusting. Okay, hit I. See a little bump in the footage there. That's a deal breaker. So hit I. No, that's why, because it's spinning around. Okay, hit I. Okay, and there, obviously, I was lining up a move, so I'm just going to go back to the start of that move. Hit I. And move through. And wait for the up. There's the end. You can see the camera move. Don't like that. So, as you can see, you can edit, 10 minutes of footage in not much more than 10 minutes if you're just kind of playing through. This one I'm slowing down a bit because I'm kind of explaining what I'm doing every moment. Okay, setting up the shot, hit I, so there's potential in point, and going. Another thing, because I was in a finite area, it's kind of a small, there's the end of the clip there, obviously, because the camera starts doing weird things. Hit O, drop that in. I was in a kind of a small finite area, wasn't particularly large there, so a lot of these shots are actually going to be the same. It's hit I. It's a matter of finding the best shots, so the best version of each. So hit O and bring that in. I might find I have 6 versions of exactly the same shot, but one of them is going to be gold, and some of them are going to just be okay. So it's, get them all and then compare them, and then move them around and see what's working. Sometimes it's okay to return to a shot that's slightly different later in your edit. It makes it interesting. Hit I. But as you can see, there's no real magic to what I'm doing. I'm literally just finding the most interesting and smoothest moments of the footage, waiting for the footage to tell me the shot's over. Oop, there it is. You just need to be very discerning about what represents the end of a shot. There should never be a, well, that's okay, you know, the camera jumps or moves or does something weird. Hit I. All moves, you know, in general should be fluid, and you should be 100% happy with them. If you're not, don't use it. Go shoot it again, or use the shoot as a reconnaissance, as a recce, and then go back and, you know, take what you learned and say, oh, I almost got a shot perfectly, but I missed it, but now I know what I would do. Well, you know, if you can get back to the location, do it again. All right, so just waiting for shot. Okay, hit I. As you can see, we're almost finished with this first clip. Really nothing there. Might be something here, but it's kind of boring, mostly sand. And now it looks like I'm kind of giving up. Looks like we're going to hit the end of the clip. Yeah, nothing else there. So now go to the second clip. This clip is much shorter. And since I've already been flying, you know, for a while, I should be a little better in this second clip about the shots I get, because I've had a little bit of practice around the terrain. So I might hit I, see if there's something here. Don't really know if there is. It's kind of up. Nope, you see I'm changing the exposure. So yeah, constantly changing the exposure. But here at the end of the clip might be a nice little pan around. If you do that, if you're halfway through a shot and you realize, you know, you've got the exposure wrong and change it, you go back and do it again. Go back to the start of the shot with the exposure correct. So I'm just going to keep now. So there's too much of a bump, too much of a move in that. So even a small move like that is enough to say no, it's not good enough. Okay, so I'm just gonna look for the new start. There's a new start. Hit I. Again, this might be a nice clip to start with, but I have an idea for how I might alter it to make it even more effective. So I'll talk about that in editing. Okay, that's quite nice. And there's the end of the clip, obviously, with that little move. So hit O, drop it in. Okay, let's continue. Let's see. And you can, you can just kind of shuttle through if you think there's a lot of dead space in your clip. You can, shuttle through and just look for the magic. So I might try this. Hit I, new endpoint. Okay, it's starting to move a bit better, so I'm gonna hit I again and reset the start of that endpoint. See where this goes. Now I've already seen better versions of that shot, so not interested. But let's see where it goes. I hit I. Okay, the wave's crashing. Oh, that's kind of nice. So let's see how far that goes up. The exposure change. Let's go get to the end of that exposure change there. Hit O. Dropping it in. Also, it's really good to end up with more footage than you need. That way you can be even more selective. You can cut clips back. Okay, I hit I. Alright, so we're just kind of pulling back. There was a little exposure change in the middle of that, but it's not too bad. So let's see if that will work. And let's continue. Alright. Waiting for a new shot. Okay, coming. Okay, hit I. Not very exciting, so might decide not to use this. Yeah. Okay, I'll hit I. Yeah, not very exciting. Again, let's kind of scroll through and see where this goes. Alright, I might just come in here. Hit I. So again, the more you can do while you're playing, okay, too much of a move there, but I did kind of like the move, so I might start at the move. The more you can do, now I'll hit I again, the more you can do while playing and just seeing what's happening, the better. Okay, nothing in any of that, so I'll hit I. Nope, spinning around again. Spinning, so nothing, hit I. Nope, hit I here, going out to sea. And we might grab something just, before that spin happens. I don't know if we'll use this clip or not. It doesn't really matter. And you see we're almost at the end of the footage now. Okay, hit I. And kind of flying back to land. That's me up there on the shore, up on the grass on top. So I might get a little shot out of that. That might even be a nice way to end the video. We'll see. And then see if there's anything else. I have a feeling that's it. I have a feeling I'm now kind of given up. So I wasn't trying very hard to get anything particular. It's just kind of out shooting. All right, so we've just cut our 2 clips, which were about 14 minutes. About 14 minutes total. And we've cut that down to 3 minutes 15. Now, 3 minutes 15 might sound good. It's not. 3 minutes 15 is way, way too long for something like this. No one wants to see these shots for, that long. I certainly don't. There are a lot of videos I'll watch for a minute or two and then turn off, especially if I see they're 9 minutes long. I'm not going to sit through it. And the average attention span for something like this, in my opinion, is about 60 to 90 seconds. If you can keep it short and tight, people can get through it. They can get what they need out of it. So that puts us in a good position. So we literally have more than twice as much footage as we need. We might have 3 times as much footage as we need. That's great. These are good things because it means we can cut back, use just the best moments of this and make something that works well. So this is that clip I thought might work well as a starting clip. So I'm just going to bring it back to the start. Final Cut's great because it has what's called a magnetic timeline, which means it'll shift everything around to make room for your clip. So very easy to move things around. So now we can kind of go through and have a look at some of these clips and how well they'll work. So a nice long opening shot. Then, I could cut to that, but so what? Let's show that we actually have some really cool stuff in here. So let's bring in something really intriguing as this second shot. So we have this long establishing shot. Hey, we're at the beach, we're at the ocean, we're having a good time. And then for our next shot, let's give a little tease. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. To show that this video is going to go places. We're going to show some interesting geography. So, could let this clip now come in. Let's see what comes next. That's a bit boring. Let's just, move it out into the middle somewhere. Because we don't want to bore people with these kind of long panoramic shots. People want you to feel like you're telling a story. So this, now, of course, is too similar to this other one. So we'll keep just moving clips out of the way. Oh, that's kind of different. That's nice. Let's see where that goes. And see, we're not cutting to music or anything at the moment. We're just kind of getting things in the right order. So this is interesting. It's probably too long, but that's all right. So now we have kind of a different move. Have the camera panning up. And then, okay, here's a different angle. Haven't seen this before. Now after this, maybe it's time to bring back, one of these long kind of panoramic moves. We've now kind of seen some detail. We've had some interesting camera moves. So now maybe we're ready again, for one of these wider, longer moves. But I might already decide I want to kind of make that shorter. And now we're on the lookout for clips that don't deserve to be in the cut. This shot, not a bad shot. I think it's a bit overexposed and the camera work isn't completely smooth. So, nope, I'm going to let it go. Now we have 2 shots next to each other that are almost identical. So now I can decide which is the more intriguing of this. Now that's quite interesting because it has the camera's bending around, so I'm going to keep that second one, and I'm going to shorten it a bit. Okay, so now we cut to that. Really have no use for that shot. Okay, now another one of these interesting ones. That's kind of cool, so happy with that. Next, we have another one of these long pull-out ones. This might be better than that first one at the start, so I'm just going to move it to the start, and then I'll compare the two at the end of this process. So what's this clip doing? kind of nice in the middle there. So I might just keep the middle section just while it was moving. It was quite nice. It's just kind of before and after. It doesn't really work very well. So here, not a bad shot, but I think it's overexposed, and because of that we'll lose too much detail, so that's unacceptable. This is not a bad shot. It probably started too early because we weren't close enough to the interesting part yet. And of course, as you can see, it's too close to the shot before it, so I'm going to move that shot before it out of the way. So now we'll cut from there. That's kind of nice. How many times have we seen this? You know, that shot's starting to get a bit old now. But we might go back and look at a couple of places we've used a shot like that and see if it's better. In this case, I don't think it is. So I think we'll just lose it. You know, we just don't need another version. So now here's kind of the same shot going forward and backwards right after another. So let's choose which is better. So going forward is kind of interesting. You know, going backwards is kind of boring because it gets less interesting as the shot goes on. We don't really want that, so let's lose that shot. Okay, so what have we got here? We have that little move, and we have another kind of pull forward. Not very interesting, but it is a slightly different angle, so maybe we just use the middle of that as a shorter shot. Okay, and now we kind of have the reverse of that coming back. But, you know, maybe we just throw that earlier in the mix and see if that kind of does anything interesting. Yeah, that's good. So now let's go lay it back into the edit again. And there's kind of our wraparound. That's nice. We have the waves crashing, so we can make use of those. That's nice, but clearly in the wrong place because it's too similar to the shots around it. So let's see if we can find a new home for that. So between there, that's nice. And there, I've kind of put it in the wrong place. Let's try it here instead. So go from here to there. So, you know, not great science to this part of it. This is more about, that's nice, more about, you know, being more discerning about which clips you use and finding a rough order where they all can coexist. And then there's that last shot. So even now we're too long. So that's good. We have plenty of opportunities to shorten this footage. So let's now go back to the start. Let's just compare these opening shots. So we have this one, we have this one. Both good for different reasons. I like the way this one starts. I think the exposure is better on this one, but this one doesn't pull out as far. You certainly get the idea that, you know, we're at the ocean. So yeah, I think I'll use the second one. So what have we got? We now have essentially a 2-minute clip, which will get shorter through editing as we refine it. Has a start shot, has an end shot, you know. So we're discovering the beach, and now we're leaving the beach, and then a bunch of clean stuff in the middle. So where do we go from here? Now we start refining the edit to make sure it's exactly how we want and as tight as we can get it. So I'm going to have a look at the original settings here. So this, I'm just selecting the program. So this, we're now editing at 4K. Personally, I don't like releasing 4K footage. I'm still very happy at 1080. And so I'm going to reformat this all to a 1080 program. A couple of reasons to do that. Makes it easier for people to view in the end. I know you can view at different resolutions, but you know, just makes it a little more manageable. Plus, allows us to use that 4K footage in different ways. For example, this opening shot works well, but we already see the beach and the ocean, so we've kind of given away the secret. It would be nice if we kind of started on the land, and this is if I had shot it that way, would have made a lot of sense. Started on the land and pull out to see the ocean. Well, since we shot in 4K, we can do, we do have plenty of room to do reframing. So I can do that a couple of ways. I can literally just change the scale and move the clip until we can't see the ocean anymore. So we might start, people walking in the park. And we can create keyframes for both the scale and the position. And then by the end of the clip, we're back down to 100%, and our X and Y positions are back at 0. So what happens is, as we start on the grass, and it pulls out, but it pulls out even faster because it's also resizing the image at the same time, and that's now our opening shot, and it now starts from there. And because we have 4K, we have plenty of resolution to do that. You don't want to go crazy. You don't want to, double and triple the size if you can avoid it. But, I think we can get away with it for a few seconds on that opening shot. Now, what you've seen is, we do have a bit of a letterbox here created by the aspect ratio in our 16:9 timeline, and that's now obliterated, but I'll show you how we get past that very easily at the end. So now we have our opening shot. Very nice. So now we have our basic edit. What I now want to do is I want to put that to music. And so if I come here, I'll just grab a music track and bring it in, bring the level down a bit, and now let's see how this fits. So clearly we can now cut to the beat. If you do an edit right, and it kind of looks right without music, you'll often find that putting in music, a lot of things fall into the right place, or very close to. And so I'm just going to, just kind of tidy this up in place based on the music. And just very simply, cut on the major changes in the music. And then, in many ways, you should let the music dictate the cut. As the music gets more dramatic, bring in more interesting shots. So here's kind of just a caretaker moment. As you can see, there we go. And now I'm going to lose just literally 3/4 of this shot just because the music says it's time to move. And also, as an edit continues, you might decide to get tighter and tighter. So, you're starting with slower, longer shots, and then the further you get in, the faster the cutting gets, and that kind of creates excitement for the viewer. So now, it's rather than cutting, back here I was cutting, first every 8 seconds, then 4, and then now I might be cutting, 2 seconds, 2 or 3. And that's nice. I'll let this one sit for 2, and then bring this in. There's a belief that I hold on to tightly, which is always leave people wanting more. If people feel completely satisfied, look at this gorgeous 30-second shot. That's not to say 30-second shots aren't great. There can be amazing 30-second shots. But you kind of almost want people to feel like, oh, I wish you'd held that shot so I could just enjoy it for longer. Leave them wanting more. So a shot like that, which is now, we've seen some more interesting shots, so that shot's looking a bit boring. Don't leave it on for as long. It deserves to be there, but... And then move, and then... Now we might start lengthening the shots again. So now, allow them to see some of that detail they were yearning for. So nice, long, see if it'll hold, and look at that, it cut itself. Now that shot we've seen a few times, so it's getting a bit boring, so let's only leave that for kind of one phrase. And now that's literally the same shot, so let's just try moving it, or deleting it. That's good. In fact, yeah, we're already too long, so let's just get rid of this next shot because we've already seen it too many times. So, just get cutthroat. And again, nice and short on that because we've seen that a few times, but it's kind of a different view with the move. Now, here's kind of a boring shot, but we have these great waves crashing. So let's find the best wave crash, which might be that one. And let's move it later so it hits a good place in the music. Okay, so now we want to bring this in so you hear the crashing of the music. There we go. But at the same time, I wish I were closer to it. Well, let's again make use of that 4K footage. Let's just zoom it in a bit. There we go. And now here we are in our last shot, and as you can see, minute 15. So we're kind of in our sweet spot. But we also want the music to end. So we can either edit the music, keep putting in more footage. I'm just gonna edit the music, so I'm just gonna create a cut here, and I'm going to now basically bring the music towards the end. Let's see. Okay, so there's the end of our music. So if I bring that back, we can start. So I now have that cutting to black on that last note. The question is, how does it match here when they meet up? Okay, they're not too far off. So what I can do is start looking for a place where these music tracks can basically crossfade. So now the music will be the right length. And so, literally by putting in crossfade, and all this process is doing is telling one track to fade out and the other to fade in. Let's find a place where the beats match. Boom, dun. Sounds like this one's coming in a bit early. So there. So maybe I'll just start that happening a bit earlier, so it kind of is more natural. And it's a little bit later. And we just find that perfect place where it's going to sit in. All right. And you see now that I've changed the music, the dramatic placement has moved, so I'm just gonna, I'm just going to switch a few things around. Oops, that's kind of locked together. We don't want that to happen. Let me see. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there. I'm just going to trade these clips around. So you see the dramatic image now hits the dramatic music. Let's just see how the rest of this plays out. Dum bum bum. out. Okay, so let's move that a little bit longer. And let's find that. There we go. All right. So that's now our edit. 80 seconds long, only the best footage. But, you know, still looks a bit kind of flat and boring. So now let's bring it to life. I'm now going to move from my proxy footage to my original footage. So now it's going to actually use the original 4K DJI clips. And they'll still perform pretty well, but you know, they might be a little slow and stuttery compared to the proxy, but you know, still working pretty well. So now let's do some color correction. In my other tutorials, I've spoken about LUTs. I'm going to use them for this, and so I'm going to bring in the LUT loader and the Newman Film LUTs, which I really like. I have a bunch of other ones as well, but the Newman Film ones I think are really good. Let's try cinematic tones for this. Okay, that's interesting. It's a bit strong, so let's just bring it back a bit and kind of see. Oh yeah, that's nice. That kind of you can really see before and after what that's doing. Of course, I shot in log, as I always do, with -2 contrast and -2 brightness, just to protect my highlights and all the tones. So as you can see, when you grade it, you have all this wonderful stuff to work with. Now, I'm literally just going to copy this clip and select the rest. And I'm going to come up here and paste attributes. And I want to paste the effects with the LUT. So now that LUT will be on all of my clips. And I can go through individually and decide how strong to make the LUT on each one. So clip by clip, I can say, okay, that's nice. This shot is a bit weak, so I might actually put a little more of the LUT. I can also have some controls in here to control the gamma, so I might bring the gamma down a bit and bring the brightness up just a little bit, just to have a little more interest in that shot. Next, see these ones with the rocks, I love all the kind of rusty colors that are coming out here, so I can push this, you know, quite hard. The more I push it, the more interesting it's going to get. Again, think about your goal. If your goal is to make an art film, push these things as hard as you want. But if you're making a documentary or something that otherwise needs to be realistic, then you know, go easy on these things. But since I'm just having fun, I can push these as hard as I want and make it very interesting to look at. So I'm going to push these clips quite hard. That one I might leave alone. That looks fine. What's happened here? Yeah. Okay, this one I want to push quite hard because that's another one of those interesting shots. You see all this great contrast. You know, it's dark over. You know, between the white caps here and the shadows over here, and everything in the middle. Just beautiful. This shot, yeah, this could use some work to make pretty. I think I can tell it's a bit overexposed, so that's a shame, but I'm still going to use it. Leave that one alone. Push this one a bit harder. And push this one a bit harder. And drop the gamma a little bit. That's good. Don't know if this one will get dramatic or not. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's quite nice what it does. Might even add some saturation to this. Really get that water blue. Bring down. Okay, yeah. So you see here, you know, a shot like this really has brought out all these different colors and aspects, which is nice. This one, very dramatic. You have the waves crashing, you know, so we can just go to town on this one. Bring up that saturation a little bit. Just bring that almost to 100. So we're just really driving this LUT now. You know, so you can just see. Again, it's for me. It's all about contrast from the darkest areas to the brightest areas, getting everything where it should be. And then this final shot, you know, kind of flying off into the sunset. We just bring that down, bring that up. make that really interesting. So that might be a bit strong. I may have overdone that a bit, so just back off on the LUT. And then here I'm just going to put I'm not going to put anything at the end, at the start. I'm going to put just a very simple crossfade at the start, just so this fades in. And before I mentioned this letterbox and the fact that this recropping obliterated it, many ways you can bring that back. All I'm going to do is literally just put a black mask over the areas where I want that letterbox, and so essentially I'm creating a false letterbox, that will match all the clips. I just kind of put this where let me just get to a clip that shows the regular letterbox, so I can see where that's meant to be. So if I just put that here and let that go for the entire thing, our entire presentation, anything I've now recropped or resumed will fit within that letterbox. Now just bring in a second one for the bottom. Like I said, there are dozens of ways to do this, including some plugins are actually letterbox, and they will do this for you. I'm just happy to do it manually, just because it's fast and easy. So now just stretch that to be the entire distance of our cut, and there it is. We now have final movies. You can see in full res, and it's not as happy to play, especially being screen captured at the same time, but I will then put the final version following this so you can see how it turned out. All right, hope that helped. Please ask any questions. I may have skipped over some stuff, but really get rid of all the moments that shouldn't be there, and the truth is that's most of them. As you can see, I got rid literally of 85% of the footage and just kept the top best 15, put them all next to each other, see how it looked, told a bit of a story, added the music, timed it to the music, made sure dramatically the clips were kind of in the right order to maximize it, color corrected it, and boom, mastered. So the whole thing, doesn't have to take hours and days. Just follow your instincts and have fun. Okay, hope that helped. Here's the final.